The South China Sea is currently experiencing a surge in tension, primarily stemming from territorial disputes between the Philippines and China. Both nations assert their sovereignty over various islands and maritime zones, leading to frequent confrontations and diplomatic standoffs. Adding another layer of complexity to this delicate situation is Australia's potential involvement. As a close ally of the Philippines and a major player in the Indo-Pacific region, Australia's stance on the South China Sea dispute carries considerable weight, making its role in the evolving scenario a subject of much speculation and analysis. Australia's potential involvement in the South China Sea dispute is multifaceted, encompassing diplomatic, economic, and military dimensions. Diplomatically, Australia has consistently advocated for a peaceful resolution based on international law, urging both China and the Philippines to engage in dialogue and refrain from unilateral actions that could escalate tensions. Economically, Australia has significant trade ties with both countries, making it wary of any disruptions to regional stability that could adversely impact its economic interests. Militarily, Australia has a long-standing defence cooperation agreement with the Philippines, conducting joint exercises and providing training support. While Australia has not explicitly committed to militarily intervene in the South China Sea dispute, it has expressed concerns about China's assertive actions and has increased its naval presence in the region, signalling its willingness to protect its interests and those of its allies. Australia's potential involvement, therefore, represents a crucial factor in the evolving geopolitical dynamics of the South China Sea, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. The potential involvement of Australia in the South China Sea disputes introduces a new dynamic with significant implications. As a regional power with a strong military and close ties to the Philippines, Australia's actions are closely watched by other nations in the region and beyond. Its response to the escalating tensions will undoubtedly shape the trajectory of the dispute and influence the broader geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region, making it a crucial player in the unfolding drama in the South China Sea. Australia and the Philippines share a long history of diplomatic, economic, and security cooperation, rooted in their shared democratic values and common strategic interests. With a history spanning over 7 decades, the relationship between the two countries has evolved into a close partnership, characterized by regular high-level exchanges, robust economic ties, and comprehensive security collaboration. This multifaceted relationship is underpinned by a shared commitment to regional stability and a rules-based international order, making it a cornerstone of Australia's foreign policy in the Indo-Pacific region. The strategic importance of the South China Sea for both Australia and the Philippines cannot be overstated. For Australia, the South China Sea is a vital maritime route for trade and energy supplies, connecting it to major economic partners in Asia and beyond. Ensuring freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea is therefore paramount for Australia's economic prosperity and national security. For the Philippines, the South China Sea represents a crucial source of fishing resources and potential energy reserves, contributing significantly to its economic development and food security. Moreover, the Philippines' geographical proximity to the disputed areas in the South China Sea makes it directly vulnerable to any escalation of tensions or potential conflict. Both countries recognize the importance of maintaining peace and stability in the South China Sea, not only for their own national interests, but also for the broader regional security and economic prosperity. This shared understanding forms the basis of their strong partnership and their joint efforts to address the challenges posed by the ongoing disputes in the South China Sea. Furthermore, both Australia and the Philippines are actively engaged in multilateral forums such as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and the East Asia Summit, advocating for a peaceful resolution of the South China Sea disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. Their commitment to a rules-based approach, emphasizing adherence to international law and respect for the sovereignty of all nations, underpins their shared vision for a stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. This shared commitment further strengthens their partnership and positions them as key players in shaping the future of the region. Recent developments in the South China Sea have witnessed a series of events that have further heightened tensions and fueled concerns about potential conflict. China's increased assertiveness in the region, including the construction of artificial islands and the deployment of military assets, has been met with resistance from the Philippines and other claimant states. In response to China's actions, the Philippines has sought to strengthen its defense capabilities, seeking closer security cooperation with its allies, including the United States and Australia. Australia's response to these developments has been cautious yet firm, reflecting its commitment to regional stability and its support for the Philippines' territorial integrity. While refraining from direct military intervention, Australia has increased its naval presence in the South China Sea, conducting joint exercises with regional partners and providing training support to the Philippine military. Australia has also been vocal in diplomatic forums, calling for a peaceful resolution of the disputes based on international law and urging all parties to exercise restraint and avoid provocative actions. These actions underscore Australia's growing concern about China's assertive behaviour in the region and its potential implications for regional stability. Australia's strategic calculus is driven by its desire to maintain a balance of power in the Indo-Pacific, preventing any single nation from dominating the region and undermining the rules-based international order. This approach reflects Australia's long-standing commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific, where all countries can prosper and cooperate based on shared principles of sovereignty, respect for international law, and peaceful resolution of disputes. Australia's recent actions also highlight the shifting alliances and evolving security dynamics in the Indo-Pacific region. As China's influence grows and its assertiveness increases, countries like Australia and the Philippines are seeking to strengthen their partnerships and enhance their defense capabilities to counterbalance China's growing power. This trend suggests a gradual shift in the regional security architecture, with countries aligning themselves based on shared concerns about China's ambitions and their desire to maintain a stable and balanced regional order. Section 4. Potential conflicts, challenges, and impacts of Australian support. The potential for conflict in the South China Sea remains a significant concern for the international community, particularly given the escalating tensions between China and the Philippines. While both countries have expressed a desire for a peaceful resolution, the risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation cannot be discounted. A military confrontation between China and the Philippines, potentially involving Australia, would have devastating consequences for the region and beyond, disrupting trade, destabilizing the regional security architecture, and potentially drawing in other major powers. Australia's support for the Philippines in the event of a conflict with China would present a complex set of challenges and implications. Militarily, Australia's involvement would likely be limited to providing logistical support, intelligence sharing, and potentially joint naval patrols with the Philippines and other allies. Direct military intervention, such as deploying combat troops or engaging in offensive operations, is highly unlikely given the risks of escalation and the potential for a wider conflict. However, even limited military support from Australia would carry significant risks, potentially exposing Australia to Chinese retaliation and damaging its relations with Beijing. Economically, a conflict in the South China Sea would have severe repercussions for Australia. The South China Sea is a crucial maritime route for Australian trade, and any disruption to shipping lanes would severely impact its economy. Furthermore, a conflict would likely lead to economic sanctions and trade disruptions between China and Australia, further damaging economic ties. Australia's decision to support the Philippines would therefore require careful consideration of the potential economic costs and the long-term implications for its economic relationship with both China and the Philippines. Diplomatically, Australia's support for the Philippines would likely strain its relationship with China, potentially leading to a diplomatic freeze or even a breakdown in relations. China views the South China Sea dispute as a matter of core national interest and has consistently opposed any external interference in its territorial claims. Australia's involvement in the dispute, even in a supportive role, would be perceived as a challenge to China's sovereignty and a threat to its regional ambitions. This could further exacerbate tensions between the two countries and undermine efforts to build a constructive and cooperative relationship. Section 5. Diplomatic and military options. Pathways to resolution. Navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the South China Sea requires a multifaceted approach, encompassing both diplomatic and military options. Diplomatically, the focus should be on promoting dialogue and confidence-building measures between China and the Philippines, aiming to reduce tensions and prevent accidental escalation. Multilateral forums, such as ASEAN and the East Asia Summit, can play a crucial role in facilitating dialogue and creating a conducive environment for negotiations. Joint development projects in disputed areas, such as joint fishing ventures or energy exploration, can also serve as confidence-building measures and foster cooperation between claimant states. Militarily, the emphasis should be on maintaining a credible deterrent posture, discouraging any unilateral actions that could escalate tensions. Joint exercises and patrols by regional partners, including Australia, the Philippines, the United States, and other like-minded countries, can demonstrate a commitment to regional stability and deter potential aggression. However, it is crucial to ensure that these military activities are conducted in a transparent and non-provocative manner, avoiding any actions that could be misinterpreted or escalate tensions. Furthermore, strengthening the defense capabilities of claimant states, such as the Philippines, can contribute to a more stable security environment. Providing training, equipment, and intelligence support to enhance their maritime domain awareness and law enforcement capabilities can empower them to safeguard their territorial integrity and deter potential threats. However, this support should be carefully calibrated to avoid an arms race or further militarization of the region, focusing instead on enhancing defensive capabilities and promoting regional stability. Ultimately, a lasting resolution to the South China Sea disputes requires a combination of diplomatic engagement, military deterrence, and a commitment to a rules-based international order. All parties involved must prioritize dialogue, exercise restraint, and adhere to international law to prevent conflict and ensure a peaceful and prosperous future for the region. This requires a long-term perspective, sustained diplomatic efforts, and a willingness to compromise and cooperate for the greater good of regional stability and international security. Section 6. Australia's strategic position, implications for regional stability. Australia's strategic position in the Indo-Pacific region is characterized by a delicate balancing act. As a close ally of the United States and a major player in the region, Australia is committed to upholding the rules-based international order and ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific. However, Australia also has significant economic ties with China, making it wary of any actions that could jeopardize its economic interests or escalate tensions in the region. Australia's response to the South China Sea disputes reflects this delicate balancing act. While expressing concerns about China's assertiveness and supporting the Philippines' territorial integrity, Australia has also emphasized the importance of maintaining dialogue with China and avoiding any actions that could escalate tensions. This nuanced approach underscores Australia's desire to preserve its strategic autonomy while navigating the complexities of the evolving regional order. Australia's strategic position has significant implications for regional stability. As a middle power with a strong military and a commitment to international law, Australia can play a constructive role in promoting dialogue, building confidence, and deterring aggression. Australia's diplomatic efforts, combined with its military presence in the region, can contribute to a more stable and predictable security environment. Furthermore, Australia's close ties with both the United States and China give it a unique opportunity to bridge divides and facilitate communication between these two major powers. However, Australia's strategic position also presents challenges. Balancing its alliances with its economic interests requires careful diplomacy and a nuanced understanding of the regional dynamics. Overly aligning with the United States could alienate China and damage economic ties, while failing to support its allies could undermine its credibility and embolden China's assertiveness. Successfully navigating these challenges will require a long-term strategic vision, a commitment to diplomacy, and a willingness to adapt to the evolving geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region. Section 7. Conclusion. Navigating a complex geopolitical landscape. The South China Sea dispute presents a complex geopolitical puzzle with no easy solutions. China's growing assertiveness, the Philippines' determination to defend its territorial integrity, and Australia's strategic balancing act create a volatile mix with the potential for miscalculation and escalation. Navigating this complex landscape requires a nuanced approach, combining diplomacy, military deterrence, and a commitment to a rules-based international order. Diplomacy remains the most viable path to a peaceful resolution. Encouraging dialogue, confidence-building measures, and joint development projects can help reduce tensions and create a more conducive environment for negotiations. Multilateral forums, such as ASEAN and the East Asia Summit, can play a crucial role in facilitating dialogue and building consensus among claimant states. Military deterrence is essential to prevent unilateral actions and maintain regional stability. Joint exercises, patrols, and enhanced defense capabilities can demonstrate a commitment to regional security and deter potential aggression. However, it is crucial to ensure that these military activities are conducted responsibly and transparently to avoid misinterpretations or escalation. Ultimately, a lasting solution to the South China Sea disputes requires a shared commitment to a rules-based international order, where all nations respect international law, prioritize peaceful resolution of disputes, and cooperate for the greater good of regional stability and international security. Achieving this vision will require sustained diplomatic efforts, a willingness to compromise, and a long-term perspective focused on building a more peaceful and prosperous future for the Indo-Pacific region. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses and updates on global geopolitical issues.